Hi everyone, this is Eric Brown and I'm here with Rodrigo Sousa of Comketo in Leominster, Massachusetts. And Rodrigo, thanks for having me here. Just wanted to have a conversation about how you got started and let our viewers hear the story of how you of the restaurant.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an
Sure.
honor to be in the show. Thanks for reaching out.
Sure, definitely. So, how did you, get, I'd love to hear your story in terms of being a restaurant owner, where did you start and sort of that progression to where we are right now in this remodel of a beautiful restaurant.
Well, we've been in business for about 8.5 years right now.
Right.
And we started in a different location than this one.
Mm-hmm.
We were on Center Street for 5 years. And then, after being there for a while, I've always wanted to, do an upgrade from where I was and
Sure.
enhance what I was doing. And Brazilian Steakhouse was all something that I was very fascinated about, and that was the ultimate goal. So basically, we moved into this location close by the mall, near 23 Sack Boulevard in Leominster. And, things are going really well. But, it was a roller coaster. It still is a little bit. Still is a little bit. I've always worked in the restaurant field ever since I moved from Brazil to the United States. I've been here for 18 years. So I worked for Vinities of, it used to be called Vinitestas.
Right.
Then it was called Vinities of Boston.
Right.
I worked for Bougainville Creek Steakhouse. I worked for some nice, high-end restaurants in Sudbury. And then throughout this time, we just acquired a lot of knowledge and grew the passion for the business. And, and here we are, after working in multiple different places. And that's why I tell people who work with us, never take for granted what we do now.
Yeah.
What you're learning now, it's kind of like internship, for something that you might want to do later on down the road.
And so these earlier experiences for you, were they back of the house, front of the house, a combination?
Was mostly front of the house.
Okay.
I've always worked at, I started off at Vini Pastas as a roller. Actually, I sat on a table for straight 6 hours, and all I did was roll-ups.
Okay.
Fork,
Yeah,
knife, and napkin. I did that for good month and a half, and then people liked me, and
I wonder why. The charm came out, right?
and then I started busting tables.
Okay.
I started running food, like the food runner.
Yeah.
And then when my English, started getting better, they gave me an opportunity to wait tables. And that back then was like something that was like, my American dream.
Yeah, okay.
To become a waiter, which is awesome. Obviously, nothing wrong with the position, but it's just funny how it works, because back then it was never in my mind to be where I am today. But this position was actually created for me because my cousin worked at this restaurant.
Oh.
And wait, I used to pick him up every night,
Okay.
and every night I would go there. I'll fill out an application and give it to the general manager. So I did that for like 4 or 5 times, and the general manager said, "You cost me more money in the application. Let me just hire you." So that's how it started. I became friends with the whole staff, so I wanted to work there.
Got it.
So they got me a job.
And so fast forward, where did the food knowledge and the cooking experience come from? Is that something you had from your past, maybe in Brazil, or?
No. Everything was really pretty much developed, throughout this time.
Wow.
Like I said, most of my restaurant career was in the front of the house until the point that I had an opportunity to go to Central Street, on that first location. And basically it was mostly hands-on, I worked for some catering companies in the past, so that also, gave me good insights. And I'm very, very observant of, everything. And working in front of the house, I was talking to the cooks and looking what they're doing and things like that, and like again, it was collecting knowledge from all these places and all these people that I worked, and I was basically, when I finally came to this, was hands-on. Basically how everything kind of.
And were you doing lots of research on recipes too, and like practicing at home, and then figuring out like what you wanted to put on a menu when you opened up a place?
Yes, my mom helped me a little
Oh,
bit,
really?
even though she's not a big fan of cooking. But,
Okay.
she helped me a little bit, and a lot of research, talking to other friends, colleagues from the past as well, played a big role, to put everything together. Because for somebody who doesn't have that much experience to put a menu together to start something, it's a big challenge.
Big challenge.
To this day, it's still a challenge. You have to put some, serious thought, behind everything that you're putting out on the plate
Right.
and presenting to people. People need, when they eat your food, they need to sense, that there's something else there besides just a plate of food.
Right.
That you put some love and thoughts and good feelings, in your food. I think that's one of the number one secrets that we have here for our success.
But beyond the food, the service, you as a personality and very active owner, you come out, you greet the guests, you have lots of events and everything going on here, getting the word out. Like you really do a lot and put a lot of energy into what goes on here, and I think that obviously translates into the success that you've seen, right?
Yeah, I think that's very important for whoever's running establishment, especially like a restaurant, to put their themselves out there and talk to guests, and people really identify when the chef or the manager or the owner comes out and talk to them, ask how everything is. This is the very, very major ingredient for in what we do. And even when we got reviews, people mention, oh, even the chef came out,
Yeah.
the owner talked to us, and so to me it's very important, I'm very honored, to get these nice reviews that we have.
And so you the second location, and then you went through a remodel, right? So tell me about that experience and how it was received by customers and lessons learned about going through that whole process.
Well, I kind of sometimes I say that I started 3 times.
Okay.
Because I started at the location on Central Street
Right.
that we were in for 5 years, and then we moved into this location
Right.
3.5 years ago. Which is kind of not another start, but we already have a good following. And then during the renovation was another restart. We put a lot of money into this place.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna have opportunity to show them the place or whatnot.
Sure,
but
definitely.
And with little to no money, everything that you see here was done by the grace of God. I usually play around because I didn't have all the money.
Yeah.
I didn't have, I went to different sources to try to facilitate this project that we have. But as you probably know, banks, they don't like to finance restaurants, right? So, I had in mind that that was something that I had to do, and it was, deep inside of my heart.
Yeah.
This was gonna be right, and we just went ahead and did it, even without, 1/4 of what we needed to
Wow.
start. So basically, I'm literally saying that we started breaking walls before having all the money in hand. We pre-sold the tickets for the re-grand opening. We turned the re-grand opening into like an event, and we pre-sold the tickets. And thank you for all of our fans, our people, our followers. There. This was they enabled this to happen.
And one of the things that I saw that you did really well as a restaurant owner is really the marketing and getting the message out there through social media and just other press, right? That you've just embraced that connecting with the community, which is so important for any restaurant success. So it sounds like there are a lot of valuable lessons learned too for other restaurant owners too, that it is important. You need to connect with the community. You need to be actively involved with meeting the customers and also potentially getting in front of new customers that haven't heard about you yet, right?
Yeah, for what we do, we if a regular restaurant already needs that marketing power, the marketing engine to be very sharp, for us we would have to double that or even triple X that because we are doing a concept that not everybody's familiar. It's a Brazilian steakhouse, especially in this area. Not
Right.
everybody's very familiar with that. So it's a process of educating people, what a Brazilian steakhouse is, which is completely different from any steakhouse that you are gonna go, regular steakhouse. I usually say that coming to a Brazilian steakhouse like us, it's almost like, it's pretty much like going to a tasting at a hotel that sometimes you pay 60, 70 bucks to go to a tasting. You are able to do something like this here for, half of the money.
Yeah.
And I believe to have an even better experience than if you went to a tasting. Coming to a Brazilian steakhouse, you get to experience pretty much everything on the menu. We have a state-of-the-art rotisserie where we grill, all these meats.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get anything from steak, chicken, pork, sausage, lamb, noble cuts, such as filet mignon, lamb chops, ribeyes, and so forth. We have a nice gourmet salad bar, obviously. That's how people start their experience, and we serve the sides at the table. So, and we had to go through the process of educating and showing people what we're about and what we do.
Right.
To get people in. And once they come in, all they say is, "Why did I not know about this earlier?"
Yeah,
before,
right. No, I know I said that, so that's definitely true. So what would you say, when you look forward for the next, 5 years of your business, like what is that looking like? What is important to you in terms of connecting with the community and the growth of this restaurant? Or for you just as a business owner?
Well, we are always doing something new. We always engaging with the community on the local events and things like that. As in right now, obviously, we have certain financial commitments that are like top priorities that what it took to put all this together. That's
Sure.
We need to honor, obviously.
Yeah.
But I am looking to sometime in the future in 3 years to branch out a little. Maybe not as a Brazilian steakhouse, maybe as a simpler concept.
Okay.
Still Brazilian, but not the steaks, I guess. But I have some stuff cooking in my mind that to do.
Well, that's exciting. I definitely want to be on the list when that comes out.
Sure.
So let me know.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that you just want to share, or like anything else that a new customer should know about coming in here? Or
Well, I like to invite everybody from the area to come check us out. One thing very different about us is that people, when they come here, they really feel treated like their family. It's people can really sense that we genuinely want to serve and help people and expose them to something that they if we weren't here, they probably wouldn't have the opportunity to try and experience. So basically, come experience, the Brazilian steakhouse experience. Enjoy a nice drink and a good time with family and friends.
definitely a good time to be had here. Well, I appreciate the time and inviting me in here. So,
No, my pleasure.
really appreciate the time. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.